Molly O'Brien. It is Monday the 22nd, and it is 3 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope all of you are feeling a little wide awake and energized after that Patriots win. So they are headed to the Super Bowl once again, and it wasn't a late game, so hopefully you weren't too tired. But probably expended your energy a little bit after all that cheering. So today we have a couple fun things happening here at Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. We are talking about the environment, we are digging into some locally made chocolate, and then we are looking into our past while memorializing and headed into the future. So it should be kind of an interesting show, kind of ranging all things up the spectrum. So I'd like to say hello and welcome to our first guest. Cindy Sabato joins me today. She is with Save the Bay. Cindy, how are you?
Hi, good. I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us today. So we are talking about Save the Bay, and I contacted you because it's January, so people are still kind of working out their New Year's resolutions, and I thought a good one might be becoming a little more eco-friendly or that kind of thing. So we thought ways to go green in 2018.
Great idea.
Great idea, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to put it like this. Cindy came up with 10 ways to go green in 2018. And you put it from the frame of mind of ways to help the bay, because that's what you do.
Because Save the Bay.
Because that's
what we do.
That's what you do. So talk to me a little bit about why it's important from the frame of mind for helping the bay.
That's a great question. You look out over the bay and it's beautiful and everybody's out there swimming and using the bay in a variety of different ways. And so it's easy to think, oh, the bay is really great and clean. And, it certainly is a lot cleaner than it was many, many years ago. But the reality is, although big, obvious pollution inputs like factories and raw sewage overflows have mostly gone behind us, we still have a lot of really important and subtle pollution inputs into our bay. And one of the biggest contributors to pollution in our bay, beach closures, shellfish closures, and poor water quality, is actually something called stormwater runoff or runoff pollution. And that's something that's caused by all of us individually, just in the way we live. But the good thing is that also means that we all have the power, collectively and individually, to reduce runoff pollution or polluted runoff and help improve water quality in our bay even more.
Well, I mean, I think that's so great that we all have the opportunity to change it. But who would have thought, you hear storm drain runoff and you think, oh, that's just part of life. But the fact that it impacts, that it makes such a big impact, it's pretty substantial. Okay, so that's why we know it's important. Let's talk a little bit more about what is polluted runoff.
Great question. So today it's kind of rainy and nasty, and we're getting into the spring season when we have a lot of rainy days. And when it rains or when snow melts, or we water our lawns in the springtime throughout the summer, that water runs off of our lawns and across hard surfaces like the roads we drive on, the sidewalks we walk in, our driveways, pavements, all of that kind of thing. And as water flows over those surfaces, it carries with it all kinds of pollutants, from your road salt to sand to chemicals from fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, anything that might be on the roadways, gasoline, a lot of things from the automotive and transportation industries. All of that eventually makes its way to our local waterways through storm drains and through direct, groundwater seepage and direct flow into our waterways, even our streams far, far inland from the bay. And climate change in our particular region is causing more downpours, more intense storms, and more snow. And that actually means more water than ever is rushing at higher velocities through those storm drains and into the water. So stormwater runoff pollution is those pollutants carried in water that comes from the sky or from our sprinklers into our waterways.
Okay, so these are all, we're just trying to give you a little bit of background why you should sort of go a little bit greener in 2018 from the perspective of helping save the bay. That's a little bit of background. And of course, we can give you some other options and maybe a little bit of input later on. But so Cindy's come up with 10 ways to go green in 2018. So number 1, make your yard a sponge, if you're fortunate enough to have a yard.
Yes, that's right. So basically there are two big ways to reduce runoff pollution. One is to reduce the amount of runoff, And 2 is to reduce the amount of pollution that gets into the runoff. So easy. When you make your yard a sponge, you're basically prepping your yard or your lawn to hold on to more of the water. So less water runs down your driveway, down your lawns, into your storm drains. One easy way you can do that is to redirect your downspouts from your roof. Instead of having it run into your driveway, where in the wintertime it turns into ice, turn those rain spouts so that they're flowing into your lawn or perennial garden or vegetable garden or whatever you have planted around your home. That's a great way to use free rainfall from the sky to water your lawn and hold on to more of the water. Another great way is to collect rainwater in rain barrels. Again, free resource from the sky. And if you if you have those rain spouts going into rain barrels, you collect that rain and you reuse it to water your lawn during the summer months when you might be really tempted to overwater with water that you might be paying for through the sprinkler system. So again, great free resource that saves money and also saves the bay.
No, I just want to clarify. A rain barrel is something different than just setting out a bucket of water and letting it sit there for mosquitoes and other things to collect, right? So it's just a little bit different than just...
That's right. A rain barrel is like a large barrel. It's got sort of a filtration kind of thing on top of it so it doesn't collect leaves. Many of them have a spout at the bottom so you can actually pull the water, from it with a hose, that kind of thing.
Okay, so if you're interested in doing this, maybe look into a rain barrel. It's not just setting out buckets around your yard and then leaving them there because that could cause problems.
Yes, and many towns and municipalities in Rhode Island actually have rain barrel programs where you can actually contact the town and make a purchase that way.
Awesome.
Yeah. Another great way is to plant a rain garden. Rain garden is like a depressed bed of plantings, native plants that kind of holds on to water and filters pollutants before it kind of seeps into the ground. This one is really something that might be surprising for folks, is to let your grass grow longer. So when your grass is longer, it prevents, first of all, it adds more shade to the soil and it prevents evaporation of moisture from the soil. So that's a really great way to hold on to more water. And if you're mowing less frequently, that's more time to play.
Oh, we like more time to play. Mm-hmm. Okay, number 2, save water, which all kind of goes back to number 1 to kind of...
It does.
And correlates.
Yeah, it does correlate. It's, again, reducing the amount of runoff that runs off your yard. And one of the ways that you can do that, again, let your grass grow longer, but also leave your grass clippings on the ground after you lawn mow. That, again, same effect as longer grass. It helps shade your lawn and it holds on to moisture, preventing the higher levels of evaporation that a shorter lawn would cause. I mentioned earlier letting your grass grow dormant in the summer. So our grasses are designed to go dormant in the dry, hot summer months. We like to fight it because as humans, we like our lawn to be beautiful and green and pristine, but it doesn't need to be that way. Your grass is still alive. It's just dormant as a natural state of its life cycle. And when it rains, it'll green up again. So don't fight that dormancy. And then sprinklers. If you're using rain barrels, you can spend less money on watering from your lawn, so you're using natural water from the sky, from Mother Nature. Use a timer on your sprinklers so that you're not overwatering, and make sure your sprinklers are set so that you're not watering the pavement or the road.
That's so frustrating when you see sprinklers going and they're just watering the street and the sidewalk. That's frustrating. Okay, number 3, grow a healthy lawn. So this kind of all links together.
It does. It's amazing how all of this blends together. Again, growing a healthy lawn. We think a healthy lawn needs lots of fertilizer and lots of water, but in fact, too much fertilizer and too much water can actually have the opposite effect and actually can create an unhealthy lawn that perpetuates a cycle of need for those things. So as I mentioned before, leave grass clippings on the lawn, not only because of evaporation and soil retention, but also because grass clippings can provide up to 1/3 of your lawn's nutrient needs. So less fertilizer needed if it's getting the nutrients it needs from the grass clippings that you leave on the lawn. Another thing is to embrace clover. Clover is actually a wonderful source of nutrient for your lawn, and it's also great for pollinators. So those of us who want to keep the honeybees and keep the vegetables and plants, that's a great thing for that as well. As I mentioned before, letting your grass grow longer, watering less. So we talked about watering less as a way of saving water, but overwatering your lawn creates a circumstance where the roots to the grass are staying closer to the surface of the grass instead of growing deep down into your soil. And the effect that has is it makes the grass more dependent on more water more often. So less water is actually a little bit better. So you want to kind of water less frequently and in longer increments so that you're encouraging your roots to grow deep into the ground. Use compost as a fertilizer to top dress your lawn. And if you have to fertilize, because I know some people out there just feel like they have to fertilize, can't let it go, fertilize at the right time. So not just before a rain, because that actually causes the rain. Remember, those rains just washing that chemical right off your lawn. It's not helping it seep in. It's carrying it with it down to storm drains. Don't water in the summertime when your lawn is naturally dormant. Fertilize. Don't fertilize in the summertime when your lawn is naturally dormant.
Okay. This is for we're on number 4. This is for animal owners out there. Scoop the poop.
Yes.
And I just said that right now.
You did. You know, we talk a lot about poop at Save the Bay. And that's because poop is a huge source of, and any kind of poop. Human poop, pet poop, goose poop. It's a huge source of bacteria and nutrients that are highly responsible for beach closures and shellfish closures, particularly after heavy rainfalls. Studies have shown that nearly 40% of dog owners do not clean up after their pets.
Gross.
Yeah.
Just pick it up, people.
Right. And what most people don't realize is it takes up to a year for dog poop lying on the ground to actually sort of decompose and disappear, and even longer than that for the bacteria and parasites that they will continue to seep into the ground for well beyond that year. Right. So it's really important that we pick up our poop, and that includes in your backyard. You might think, oh, it's in my backyard, it's not hurting anybody, but it really is still contributing to polluted runoff.
So just pick it up. Pick it up, get a shovel, get a bag, get whatever you need. Just scoop it up and help everyone and help other people not step in it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
There's multiple reasons
It's
to
really easy.
pick it up, right?
Yeah.
Everyone will thank you, including the bay, right?
That's for sure.
Okay, so another animal-related one, which maybe some little kids might feel a little sad about this, but number 5 is don't feed the ducks.
That's right. Again.
So let's just squash this out, and Cindy's going to fill us in why we should not feed the ducks.
Well, first of all, feeding the ducks in Rhode Island is illegal. Who knew? And a number of states have that rule, and the reasons are manifold. First of all, feeding geese and ducks, it's feeding them the wrong kind of food, so it's unhealthy for them. So it contributes to disease and illness and death for the animals themselves, and none of us wants that. But it also creates a dependency for these species. So many of these species are normally supposed to be migratory, but they come to learn that, I get all kinds of food here, so now I'm not going to migrate. So they start to stay with us season after season after season, and create an overburden on our environment for supporting that quantity of that mass of birds and geese. But going back to sort of our bay and the goose poop, one goose can poop 1 pound of poop per day, which amounts to 30 pounds of waste per month.
Oh my goodness.
And if you imagine, who hasn't seen a giant field of grass with hundreds of geese on them? Imagine all of that.
Dropping.
All of that
so
bacteria
that.
source there. So it's not good for the ducks. It's not good for the environment. So don't feed the ducks.
Wow, okay, if that wasn't enough to stop you.
Yeah.
Just take a picture of them instead. Grab a pair of binoculars and go look at the birds rather than feed them. Okay, number 6, don't be a litterbug, which hopefully you know that by now, but maybe not. Or maybe contain your trash a little better. Put a little positive spin on it.
Yeah, Save the Bay has been operating beach cleanups for many, many years, as well as a number of other organizations in our state. And we always get asked, well, you've been doing all these cleanups, is the amount of trash you're picking up going down? And unfortunately, it really isn't, because I think we just don't think about it a lot of times. It's really easy to flick a cigarette butt on the ground somewhere. Even in the city, that cigarette butt goes down the storm drain, becomes part of the polluted runoff, goes down the storm drain and makes its way to our shorelines. So some of the ideas, great easy ideas for protecting our bay, going green, and reducing litter is to carry something. When you go to the beach, carry a bag with you that's intended for trash. So every time you have something that's trash, stick it in the bag, put something on the bag to hold it down, and carry it out with you. We call it carry in and carry out. Another thing is, if you're a smoker, carry a bottle or can or some kind of portable ashtray device that you can use to collect your butts, and take that out with you as well. Be careful with fishing line. Fishing line is one of the huge dangers for marine life, and also some of it can be a health hazard for humans as well. So be careful with your abandoned fishing line. Take it with you, and then finally set an example and speak up.
I think speaking up is something good too, and help out in just about every way. Okay, a couple minutes we have left. We're gonna rock through these next ones. All right, number 7, help with the cleanup.
Right. So Save the Bay does beach cleanups April through October and November. Other organizations do them as well. So if you're interested in getting out there, getting outside, enjoying the beach, and doing something great for the community, volunteer to lead or participate in a beach cleanup.
I think that's an excellent idea, and then you feel good about it afterwards.
Absolutely.
All right, number 8, respect the storm drain.
So your storm, if it's illegal to dump anything in a storm drain. That includes grass clippings and road sand and salt, leaves, certainly motor oil, cleaning solvents, things that we might use in our driveway, cigarette butts, cigar nubs, all of that. Keep it out of the storm drains. Even as you're fertilizing, if you have to fertilize, sweep the excess fertilizer and grass clippings onto your yard so those rainfalls don't bring it down with it down the driveway and into the storm drain. A lot of people don't realize, they think, well, grass clippings are natural, so they'll biodegrade. But what happens is they actually clog up the storm drain system, causing sewage overflows and also higher maintenance costs that cities and therefore taxpayers have to pay.
I feel like, too, there's just been so much more education. I remember even just being a little kid, from what things were then to what things are now, but just through whichever state I've lived in over the course of however many years, there's been so much more education of how storm drains are and how things work. So I think that's a testament to people in your field and in every state we've lived in. Just, we need to take better care of our systems.
Right.
Okay, number 9, leave a smaller footprint. So how do we do that, Cindy?
Yeah, so this one is really more about reducing carbon emissions that are leading to the climate change conditions that are causing the higher rainfalls and the more intense storms and the greater amounts of snow. So there's some really great ways that you can do that. One is to take advantage of the free energy audits that a lot of energy companies offer in various states. They come in and evaluate your home and make recommendations, and even offer a lot of rebate programs that help you pay for different kinds of things like energy efficient light bulbs or windows or insulation kinds of things.
My in-laws just did that, and they were able to save a bunch of money just by putting in different systems in their homes. And I know a lot of people actually who've done this, and with a free audit.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Go solar if you can. A lot of helpful programs to help consumers go solar in an affordable way. So explore whether that could be right for you and your home. Help reduce transportation pollution. Transportation overall is a really big contributor to carbon dioxide emissions. So some of the ideas that we like to talk about are some communities have started walking school buses so that neighbors, neighborhoods of kids kind of get together and organize a walking school bus. So instead of riding the school bus, one or two or a couple of parents get together with a whole group of kids and they actually walk a few blocks to school, and that cuts down on the transportation need. Use public transportation if you can, or walk or ride a bike whenever you can. Drive electric. Really these kinds of things we see and hear around us all the time, that are easy to explore and fit into your lifestyle.
And more communities are becoming bike friendly or public transportation friendly. There are different options, ride sharing. So there's more and more options out there, and more communities are becoming more accepting of them and more accessible, I think, as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, number 10, download the Bay Friendly Living.
Yes. So download our Bay Friendly Living Guide, which touches upon all of the tips that I've given you today, as well as others with more information and more resources. And also because it saves paper if you download it. So going green in a couple of different ways there.
Like that.
And you can get that at savebay.org/bayfriendlyliving.
I think these were all great ideas. One of the bonus ones that I liked, last time you were in here, Cindy, was we talked about one of the cleanups that you had going on. Well, it was all the cleanups that Save the Bay does. But we talked a lot about the amount of plastic that is picked up. And so my bonus tip is using a reusable bottle, mug, cup, straw, because of all the broken down plastics that you've found throughout all these cleanups. So my bonus tip for going green in 2018 is try to use a reusable. I've purchased reusable straws. I have a ton of reusable bottles, aluminums, all kinds of things. So that would be my bonus one because of all the broken down plastics that we found.
Yeah, that's a great bonus tip. Plastics never go away. They just break down into smaller and smaller pieces. And eventually they become sort of indistinguishable from the environment, and they're being ingested by marine life, bird life, and even humans as we eat fish and other life that kind of ingest the plastic along the way.
Yeah. So hopefully you got some education and knowledge out of this, and we can help you. If you didn't have a resolution, maybe we just gave you one. So 10 plus an extra one of ways to go green in 2018. Cindy, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Happy New Year to you.
Thank you.
And come back again.
All right, thanks.
All right, everyone, we're going to get set up here for our next guest on Go Local Live.